Hey guys, my name is Sav and welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to go ahead and put in a little disclaimer here. This is my first YouTube video ever. This is also my first day with this camera, so I'm still kind of learning how it works and getting comfortable talking to it as well. So I just want to ask you guys to just bear with me a little bit until I figure all of that fun stuff out. But I just wanted to make a little bit of an introduction video so you guys could get to know me before I start posting a whole ton of vlogs and things like that. This channel will be mostly geared towards reading vlogs, trips to Barnes & Noble, unboxings, things like that. I don't know if I really plan on doing a whole lot of just like sitting down and talking videos. Vlogs are my favorite style of videos to watch, and so I just think that I'm gonna have a lot more fun filming those. A little bit of information about me. I have always been a reader. Both of my parents have always loved reading, and I'm also an only child. So whenever my parents wanted to just kind of relax and hang out, we would do a lot of reading, and my parents still both love to read. But I got really passionate about reading as an adult in 2020 when COVID hit. I had just lost my job and had moved back home in with my parents. So I started reading on my phone a lot then. But Beach Read by Emily Henry is actually the book that got me back into reading and made me really fall back in love with reading romance books. And that's kind of what inspired me to make my book Instagram account, because during COVID we were all cooped up and I needed some friends. So with that being said, I do have a book Instagram, and if you need to find me or if you just want to see more of my life, you can definitely click the link below, or I'll probably insert a picture somewhere here of my account. My username on everything is Bookish Sav. So on Storygraph, Instagram, Threads, most social media sites, you can just find me as Bookish Sav. All right, so I did post a Instagram story asking my followers to ask me some questions that they want to see answered in this video. So I'm just going to look at those and answer some questions. Also, I want to apologize. I have 3 cats. One of them is in here with me, and he likes to make a lot of noise. So I just want to go ahead and apologize in advance. The first question is, what is my favorite series of all time? And this is actually a series that I read last year. I'm really late. This series has been on Book Talk for as long as Book Talk has basically existed, or at least as long as I've known about Book Talk. It is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I read it last year and I devoured it. I fell in love with it. It wasn't something that I expected to love as much as I did, but I love the writing style, I love the characters, and I just love the story. And if you haven't read it and you've been waiting for a sign to, this should definitely be it. All right, this next question is, if you could only read one genre for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I think I would go with romantasy, just because fantasy and romance are my 2 favorite genres, and that way I get the best of both worlds and don't have to pick and choose. All right, someone asked, how do you make time for reading? And honestly, my life just revolves around reading. Whenever I'm getting ready for work in the mornings, if I'm playing games on my iPad, which I do a lot, I listen to my audiobooks. When I'm cleaning my house, I listen to audiobooks. If I'm doing something for my small business, I listen to audiobooks. That's literally all I do. And then I never leave my house without my current read, whether that's physical or on my Kindle. I always have something to read when I'm gone, just if there's any downtime at all. Like if I'm early for an appointment, if I'm early for work, if I have a break, I'm always reading during that time. And then lastly, I just don't watch much TV. If I'm being honest, I watched a lot of TV when COVID first started, and it kind of got me a little depressed because I was just laying in the bed all day watching TV and like never really getting up and just sitting in a dark room. So I just don't watch TV much anymore. Me and my boyfriend watch a few shows in bed at night, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, I spend most of my time reading, or there's just TV on for background noise. All right, this next question is, what is your most prized bookish possession? I have tried to say that so many times now, I'm not re-recording it. But probably my original covers of Throne of Glass. I just realized these are out of order. We're not going to talk about it. I just took them out for an Instagram picture recently. We're not going to talk about it, but my OG covers of that for sure. I just love that series so much. All right, this next question is, which fictional character do you think you're most like? And I would definitely say Elsie from Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I, from page 1, absolutely loved her as a character and immediately thought, oh my God, she's such a mirror ball, which I love Taylor Swift, and that is my favorite Taylor Swift song. And I have a mirror ball tattoo, of course. And I just love her. I see so much of myself in her. And honestly, like, every one of Ali Hazelwood's characters, I always see a little bit of myself in, but Elsie, for sure, I feel like encapsulates me as a whole. This next question is 2025 bookish goals. And honestly, I didn't set many goals for myself this year. I set a lot last year, and it made reading kind of just feel like a chore. So I would mostly just say getting books off of my physical TBR, because if you can't tell, I've got a lot of books and I haven't read all of these, or even probably half of them. So I'm trying to buy less and read more off of what I already own, kind of just like shop my own library. And then I did set a reading goal for this year, which is 150 books. I have surpassed it the last 2 years, so I see myself definitely doing that again. Okay, someone asked my top 5 series, and one thing about me is I do not read series back to back. I always skip around, and like I'll read the first book and then I'll read like 3 books in between that are not related at all, and then I'll come back. So I'm in the middle of a ton of series. Definitely gonna say Throne of Glass, of course. Incredible. It's definitely my favorite series of all time. And then I think I'd also have to go with The Cruel Prince. I feel like it was probably my favorite series of last year. And then one that I'm in the middle of, I'm on book 8 right now, is definitely Zodiac Academy. I tried to read that book years ago, actually, and I hated it. I was like, this is so cringy. I can't do it. Hated the dialogue, all of that. Came back to it 4 years later. I'm obsessed. What can I say? It's incredible. And like, is it the greatest writing ever? No. No, it's not. Don't get your hopes up. But I love the characters, love the banter, and just think the writing style is super funny. So, read it. Was that 3? Yeah, that was 3. For the 4th one, I feel like probably Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver. That is just such a classic for me. Absolutely love it. Love cowboy romances. Got really big into those. And honestly, I think I'm going to go with another cowboy romance for number 5 and say Rebel Blue Ranch by Lila Sage. I love those books. I devour them. I cannot wait for Wild and Wrangled. I actually think I'm most excited for that. And I didn't think I would be. I thought it would definitely be Swift and Saddled that was my favorite, but I don't know. Wild and Wrangled just seems so good, and I'm so excited for it to come out. Right, the next question is my least favorite genres, which I'm not saying that I've never read a good book in these genres, because I definitely have. But they're just not genres that I gravitate to. I will read anything. I'll give it a shot at least. Might DNF it, but I'll try, okay? So I think I'd definitely say historical fiction, because I'm just not super into it unless it's done really well. And someone who does that really well is definitely Kristen Hanna. But I do want to branch out a little more and maybe try some more, because I know that I can like it if it's done well. But if it's not done a certain way, it just doesn't hit for me. And then also nonfiction. I have gotten a little bit more into memoirs, especially of celebrities, because I'm really into pop culture and everything. But other than that, I'm just not super into nonfiction or like self-help. That's just not really my thing. But yeah, most other genres I like. I mostly read romance and fantasy. Okay. But I do read thrillers every once in a while, more so in the fall, but I do really enjoy them. Like every time I pick up a thriller, I'm like, oh, why don't I do this more? This was so good. And then also I do enjoy general fiction. I'm trying to think of other genres. There's definitely a lot more. I don't know. I read a little bit of everything. I don't really have any that I'm like, absolutely not. I would never read. All right. So the next question is my favorite foods, which definitely mac and cheese. You can't go wrong with mac and cheese, especially like homemade baked mac and cheese. So good. Any type of pasta, really. And then also if you're going to have pasta, you have to have garlic bread. Garlic bread is probably one of my favorite foods. And I'm trying to give you 3. What's the 3rd? Honestly, just some good old Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets with some Chick-fil-A sauce, of course. But that just always hits. It's so comforting and I always crave it. All right. One of my friends asked, hobbies besides reading. Definitely coloring. I got really into coloring last year and I love to color and listen to my audiobooks. I just think it is so relaxing and one of my favorite ways to unwind. And then I also am really big into video games. I have a PC that I built last year and then an Xbox as well. And on there I mostly play like The Sims 4, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and then me and my friends play a lot of like dumb games like Overcooked. I just think it's so fun. We love to argue and play it and just stuff like that. Okay, this next question is, who are my top 5 authors? And the first few are going to be really basic, but Emily Henry, of course, she's phenomenal. Everything she writes, I'm going to eat it up. Really hoping for an arc of Great Big Beautiful Life, or is it World? Great Big Beautiful Life, I think. Forgive me, but really hoping for an arc of that one. My cats are being really crazy. I don't know if I mentioned I have 3 of them. There's not just one, there's 3, and they're crazy. Anyways, back to my favorite authors. Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez. Cannot wait for Say You'll Remember Me, but I think it's really gonna hurt. But I'm so excited for that. All of her books are amazing. Definitely Sarah J. Maas, can't go wrong. I love Throne of Glass. I love Agatar. I liked Crescent City. I really liked the first 2 books in that series, but Crescent City 3 just was a little bit hard for me to digest. It was just a lot, and I think maybe it was like right book, wrong time, and I will probably reread it eventually. Maybe. I feel like that's a big commitment, but I do like those books. 4th is Elena Armas. She wrote The Spanish Love Deception. I've read all of her books, and I just love them. I love her writing style. I think her writing is so fun and easy to read, and I just think that she's absolutely incredible. And then 5th favorite author, it's so hard to like narrow it down to pick the last one, but probably Elsie Silver. Everything she writes, I eat it up. It's so good, and once again, so easily to like digestible and easy to read. And I love cowboy romances. They're so good. All right, the next question, if I could meet one author, who would I choose? B.K. Borson. I had an arc of First Time Caller last year. It was my favorite book that I read of all of 2024, and it came out in February, and I already want to reread it. It's so good. If you have that book or you haven't bought it yet, please go get it. It is one of the best books I've ever read. It was truly like watching a 90s rom-com on paper. It was just so good. I was laughing, I was crying, I was blushing, I was giggling, kicking my feet, all of the things. So you have to go read it. It will not disappoint. If it does, I guess you can come and kill me. I don't know. But it's just so good. It just made me so happy, and I will definitely be rereading that one. And then the last question is favorite drink, genre, and snack. My favorite drink is either Coke Zero, and it has to be a Coke Zero. I don't like Diet Coke, and I'm not big on regular Coke either. It has to be Coke Zero. And then my favorite genre, I'm gonna go with romance if I have to pick one, but it really could just depend on my mood or the day. Like, it could depend on what book I read last. I don't know, it just depends. And then my favorite snack is movie theater popcorn, and it has to be from the movie theater, and it has to be super salty to the point where like I burn my tongue off. That is like the perfect reading conditions. A Coke Zero, some popcorn, and a good book. I'm set. I don't need to move ever again. Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. I hope to post weekly, but when I'm first starting out, it may not be that often because I still have to figure out how to edit this, which could be a little bit difficult. I do think I'm mostly going to make some vlogs, so hopefully some reading vlogs will be coming soon. I have a lot of books that I'm really excited to read, and I'm doing an ARC challenge in March where I try to read all of my ARCs that I have, and I have a lot of those, and I think that that would make such a fun video. So hopefully going to film that. If there's anything else you'd like to see from me, definitely let me know below with some ideas or what you enjoy watching. Let me know some of your favorite booktubers, because all I do is watch Booktube. If I'm watching TV, I typically have YouTube on. But yeah, I hope to see you guys over on my book Instagram account, and I hope to see you guys back here next time. Bye.